And Battle Network is one of those weird offshoot things.
Interesting.
Did you see the Avengers anime? You know how that works?
Like a what?
The Avengers anime. Do you know how that works?
Like a Japanese Avengers
Yeah,
anime?
there's a Japanese Avengers
not know
anime, and
this.
it's for kids. But it's not like it doesn't star Tony Stark and with Steve Rogers and Bruce Banner and stuff. It stars kids who collect them like Pokemon and like throw them out, and then like go get them, Iron Man, and like Iron Man like I think they're cards, and they like blow up out of a card and like you got it. And then, like,
Amazing.
yeah.
I won't watch that.
Just trying to get by to the next fix, living between Wednesdays. Prefer the comics over the Netflix, living between Wednesdays. The first John Romita Spidey cost me lots, living between...
Gotta catch them all. Avengers.
Sidekick Weekly Pool.
we read comics with our eyes.
And also talk about mid-2000s animation that has to do with the internet.
Digimon.
Remember the Digimon, the first movie, where they have to go into the internet? Is that...
To the internet.
I didn't
They
watch.
literally have to battle in the internet, because the internet was like...
I'm not doing any offs. I don't like Pokemon. I'm not doing goofy offshoots of Pokemon.
Digimon were cool.
Digimon,
okay?
the movie, is a treasure and an emotional, stunning masterpiece.
Yeah, but does what's the main little T-Rex's guy's name?
Agumon?
Does Agumon cry and turn his guy that looks like Ash, that's not Ash, from stone to flesh or whatever, like the Pokemon first movie?
Hey, real talk, I could do a full podcast on the Pokemon movie and all the controversy surrounding it in regards to the original Japanese release.
I mean, I can't support you
We
like I
should-
did the other one, but I will listen to
We
you.
should let you. We should.
Okay, so here's the... No.
Sorry, we're off track. Comics.
Comic books.
It is a day of the year. It is July 1st.
Oh my god.
What happened?
Happy Canada Day.
Not for me. It's 4th of July. It's our,
Get out.
it's our Independence Day.
You mail-ordered groom, you. We're wearing our festive Canadian colors, as always.
Yes. We're all ready.
It's hot down here.
So we read comic books.
We did.
Harrison,
I'm gonna pick a little indie.
I'm so excited. Yeah.
I want to talk about Necromancer Bill. Necromancer Bill. It's published by Darby Pop, which I don't know much about them. Would it be apt to call them an indie publisher? Are they small enough?
They're so small that like they have maybe one book every quarter in the
Yeah.
previous.
Yeah, like I remember seeing this like on
You have a few.
books, but I couldn't tell you what books were by
Yeah.
them. But Necromancer Bill, what's that about? Great question, as always, Jay. It's about a guy named Bill who becomes a necromancer by accident. Essentially, it opens in like a ritual where a hooded figure is trying to pass on the gift of necromancy to a student who has trained very hard to be the next necromancer.
Huh.
But basically, this guy has the same name as Bill. So
So-
they invoke his name in the ritual and accidentally give the
Send
power
it
of
to-
necromancy to just some divorced dude living by himself in the suburbs.
Nice.
They send the powers ancient to Bill.
Yeah, and then so it's Bill. It's a short little self-contained story. It's basically about Bill and Larry the Crow. Larry's actually like a being from this. You get like a glimpse into this afterlife and other demonic beings and stuff. And you find out he was like a high up official who did something bad, so they like trapped him in a crow and they forbade him from the afterlife. But
So
not-
it isn't like a Christian Judeo
No,
good and evil.
no.
Okay, cool.
So they basically say, hey, Larry, because that's the crow's name, obviously, like, go watch this guy Bill for like a week while we like do the paperwork to get the necromancy powers away from him.
Yeah.
And then it's about like them bonding and him trying to teach Bill instead to use his necromancy.
Yeah.
Because, maybe it'll earn him some points from the higher ups.
Makes sense
But
to
then
me.
their friendship ends up developing through the training. Something goes wrong. They have to fix their mistakes together. I just laughed so much. It's so funny.
Stop drilling, you hit oil. Hand it on over.
It's really, really funny. The crow has like two friends that are rats or mice or something.
And they're like in like a like a wall watching stuff as
Yeah.
though it's a TV, but like on a phone.
Yeah, with the phone plugged in, and when he calls them and they pick up the phone, they actually pick up like
They
a
have to,
little
like-
iPod
yeah.
earbud that they're holding.
Yeah.
Like, so all the little world building details like that are hilarious.
There's some amazing visual gags.
But
I
then
mean, the art seems a lot like Bill Watterson meets Todd McFarlane, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna read that.
That is my one thing, is some of the art is like super sketchy, and when you get into like the sort of like a zombie pet cemetery,
Yeah.
like literally, just like zombie cats and dogs, it's just like the attempt at motion just muddies the figures entirely. So there's some rough stuff.
I love the emotions in Bill's face.
Yes.
It's often like simple, but it gets the point across really well. And there was just one interaction that just made me laugh my head off, where Larry the Crow is calling up his mice friends to get their help with something. And they're like, well, what do we get? And they're like, well, we want your emerald sword. So since we're in like a world of like spooky demons and afterlife, I'm like, oh, they just want like an emerald sword artifact from them. But as the conversation continues, he's like, no, I don't want to give you that. I'll give you my sky helm instead. Turns out they're actually talking about like a video game they play, where he's like, I worked on months to get that sword, dude. He's like, I was farming for that sword, and then he like transfers it to their account. And so just the little side conversations that reference like a World of Warcraft like game and stuff like that. All the little side bits are really well fleshed out. And even those two little mice characters, they're only little side characters, but they get enough to really define themselves. It was just really funny.
The Darby Pop, I don't know what that is, but that's familiar. You're right. It kind of reminds me of Rhino VHS. Does anyone remember Rhino VHS?
Yes.
Okay,
Only
cool.
because of the Spider-Man VHSs we have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They were like,
So precious.
they did Mystery Science Theater before those were a thing. They found like the unearthed all these like weird like black and white 1930s like raunchy cartoons and stuff. They were like the cool. What was it, trash cinema before trash cinema?
Yeah.
Doing VHS stuff. So, 2 thumbs up because the font reminds me of Rhino VHS.
But for more reasons once you read it.
Yeah, I'll read it. No, it's
Yeah.
good.
Chris, what's something you put in your eye holes today that you liked?
Well, I'm excited because that means I get to go on a Raiders rant.
That
Raiders.
looks like you.
Bears a striking resemblance.
I've been working on my man bud.
And the eye patch.
Yeah, well,
Well, I mean, like, there's-
one day I'll go on a quest, and I too will lose my eye, and thus earn the eye patch. But this is a great dungeon crawler book about 2 raiders. They're questing for loot, like literally questing for loot. They talk about it like this.
They talk about dungeons resetting, so it's very
Yeah.
like video game dungeon oriented.
Yeah, and they've been doing this for a while. They're very, very good at it. They're very well rehearsed. But our main character here is getting older. He's fallen in love with like a cute barmaid, and he wants to do his last raid and make enough that he can build a cottage out in nowhere, get fat and happy, and give up questing. But his younger brother, who he quests with, wants to be a legendary raider. Like, he wants songs written about him. He's not ready to be done. So this book is about that. So they do quest together, and then it's about his brother wanting to go forth while his older brother wants to settle down, have kids, and eat lots of snacks. And what that does to the family. I don't want to give too much away.
I've only read the first little bit.
I know.
So.
But the art is really, really good.
It has a
It's
very Andrew McLean vibe.
Andrew McLean.
Very like Andrew McLean.
Very Mignola.
Yeah.
Like, very blocky, but like very clear. There's a lot of like good kinetic action, like a lot of big sword swipes, a lot of little monsters and goblins running around. Very familiar territory if you're into D&D, if you're into Headlopper, if you're into like sort of like
Any sort of like video game where there's dungeons or raiding or loot.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
That
Or some
language is-
other dark fantasy where a guy doesn't have an eye and a big sword.
You don't need to
Just
plug that
saying.
video anymore, Jay. It's already, views are climbing.
yeah. Everyone wants to hear you guys talk about Berserk, okay? That's not what
Our
I'm
weekly
here for.
Berserk
Well,
podcast.
I could leave. Like.
We'll have to talk about each chapter as they're released now.
Oh, great.
But another time. Raiders.
Yeah, The artist on this is an indie artist who I've been following for a long time.
Same.
Called Cromp. So I was really, really excited that he was doing a whole sequential, and he actually does a really good job. Usually he does like pinups and posters and tattoos now, but like his sequentials are really cinematic, really, really amazing and very clear. So I was excited to read Cromp or Raiders.
I found, I followed him online as well for a while. I found him because he does a lot of art and actually has like compendiums or like zines of like Dark Souls and Bloodborne fan art, and it's so good.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to read the rest of that one.
Yeah. I also feel like we should talk about the number one that we got.
Yeah!
I think I'm the only person who read it this week.
Goddamn.
I don't swear. Oh, language.
God.
My pearls.
The gosh danged.
Oh my god.
I would read a comic. called The
Nothing
Gosh
would
Danged.
happen in it because it's also like blood and guts.
Yeah, like a PG version of this book would just be 20 blank pages.
So is this a prequel to a thing that exists?
It's
right?
so the goddamn.
It exists in the same universe, but it's not a prequel.
So
Yeah.
Jason Aaron really likes like what's up with God, and I gotta just bestow about him and his covenant, and his reckoning is upon us.
Yeah, it's either that or like character defining runs for Marvel.
Yeah.
There you go.
2 modes.
I don't think this is canon with the popular Bible, but I believe it is canon with his previous goddamned title.
Yes. I should ask friends of mine who know more about biblical canon, which I have now said enough times that I feel like it's a thing, but I know describing it as canon.
If they would release it as a comic, I'd read it.
You're caught up. You watched the Russell Crowe, Darren Aronofsky Noah movie.
It's true, and I read the Judas comic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Which I also was shaking at people being like, is this canon? And they're like, Chris, come on. And I'm like, what is that?
Well, I mentioned it to my brother, and he's like, no, we don't care about him that much. I was like, oh, okay.
Alright. But this takes place in between sort of like post-Eden, pre-flood.
Yeah.
When the world is dirty and humans are horrible. So
And
also
eating meat
now.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Do that.
And this specifically is in a convent of nuns, a secret convent of nuns in the mountains, who collect children to be the brides of the children of God.
Oh, geez.
But we don't know what that means, and neither do the kids.
Is it really children of God? Find out next time.
You know what? It seems like, but it doesn't seem like a good idea.
It's
Is
I
what
mean,
what
right
I'm
off the bat,
taking
you
from
know, you're like
this.
something fishy's going
Yeah,
on
yeah.
here. This is not a good, wholesome. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
marry an angel. Like it's gonna be. It's
Nephilim.
called the Goddamned. It's
Yeah.
not gonna be a happy
Yeah.
ending for them.
So it follows 2 young girls who are living in this nunnery who are maybe a little bit more mischievous and questioning than they're supposed to be, and them sort of trying to figure out what's going to happen to them when they get their period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that movie we watched, The Devils. Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's got that vibe, but it's like more naturalistic.
Yeah. Well, it takes place thousands of
and-
years before.
And it's also like more gritty and more dreamlike.
Yeah.
Parts of it remind me of like sort of like biblical demon-y Hellblazer stuff. It's got that kind of flavor going on, so it's got a bit more of a supernatural slant than like the first Goddamned had.
Yeah. The first Goddamned, I think, was just like men killing each other. There
Oh,
wasn't any
super
like
slaughtery.
potentially
were
angelic or demonic
monsters.
beings. There were okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there weren't like angels and demons
Yeah.
and stuff. This one, there may be. We'll see. But it did enough for me actually in issue 1 that I'll probably keep following it.
Same. I'm not a huge fan of the first book. One thing I noticed, and because I went and flipped through it again after reading this one, is that the art has definitely stepped up. I think.
Oh, it's
the art is
beautiful.
gorgeous, and I remember not being super impressed with the art. Like it was good, but I wasn't like wow the same way I was with the new title. I'm interested in checking if it's a new colorist as well, because the colors
Yeah.
in this are beautiful, and the first one is basically brown and red.
It's very muddy, and I think it's intentional to show like how
It
gross
takes place
things
in like
are.
a desert and canyons.
Yeah,
and
this
stuff.
is like it's supposed to be like an Eden-esque
Yeah.
area, but then there's something sinister below the surface. So they do a good job of that. Check it out
Goddamn.
if it sounds like your thing.
One of my favorite things of 2020 so far is A Walk Through Hell, and the complete hardcover came out this week.
Wow.
Yeah, we bought the trade paperbacks in Chicago.
Yes, we did, and we both finished the entire thing in an airport.
Yeah, it seems weird now that we were in an airport like a couple months ago.
Yeah,
Other
those
parts
foreign
of the
lands of
world.
airports.
Wow.
Written by Garth Ennis and art by Goran Sudzuska. I'm sorry.
Nailed it.
But I'll tag you if you exist in Twitter. A Walk Through Hell, it's a horror comic. And I could actually legitimately say it's scary.
Yeah.
I was actually scared throughout this book.
Oh, me too. It is an unsettling read.
Yes, and that is a very good descriptor for unsettling. It is not a Blumhouse spookfest. It is more in the vein of like Hereditary Spookhouse, where it's a very unsettling, macabre, nihilistic and
And it
journey.
like takes a while too.
Yes.
It like comes in stages. So I appreciate the slow burn of it.
And I like that you see some gross, scary stuff, but so much of it is about what you don't see.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate done really well in a visual medium.
And it's very
Yeah.
measured. It's very reserved. It's not just gore porn because he's done that before. He's done Crossed and Garth Ennis, but he takes a more measured approach with this. So it's more psychological. It's more of like that vein of. It's less Cronenberg and it's more like Lynchian in that vibe.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. But the
Yeah,
elevator.
Lich on the brain right now.
Oh, we just watched a bunch of stuff yesterday, and plus, like, we had that black and white. I just got through episode whatever the college thesis episode. That was creepy.
Peaks.
Yeah. But anyway, I guess the elevator pitch with this there was the cornered the serial killer. He's a bad dude. He's in a warehouse somewhere, and he's been going on a cross country thing of murdering and raping kids. So like we got to go get this guy. A SWAT team goes into this warehouse. They immediately come out, and then they kill themselves, all of them.
Yeah.
So the two FBI agents who were on the case the whole time show up and like, hey, what's the deal? What's going on? I'm like, well, we don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. And like, well, why? What's going on? Like, well, we just want a SWAT team in there, and they just killed themselves. So we don't know if you should go in there or not. And
That's what they do.
but like,
Obviously.
the two FBI agents go like, well, fuck that. We're gonna go do it. And they go in there, and it's called A Walk Through Hell for a reason.
Yeah. It's we had somebody in here last week looking for Garth Ennis books. So if you're watching this, we got a Garth Ennis book. Come back and
You
get
want
it.
this one.
It's good.
It's so well done. It's so creepy. The Garth Ennis has a new thing now where he takes like a nice approach at. I guess he's always done this though, but he's doing it still now, where he tackles PC tropes with a gentle hand, but also keeps his edge. I don't know how he does it. He's walking the line pretty well.
He like you see it in this, you see it in the Boys reboot that
Yeah.
we're reading, where there's a lot of whether it's like them just sitting down talking about it or them
Yeah.
like actively doing things while talking about
Yeah.
it. He definitely loves to have his characters discuss very current issues
Yes,
like that.
and and the neat thing about that, I think it lets him. He acknowledges it, so it doesn't. So it gives him the leniency to not water down like the horrible stuff. But yeah, pick of the week. Walk
Great
Through
book. I love it. We all like it.
Hell. Yeah,
I mean, we should talk about Firepower.
I read Firepower. Anybody else read Firepower?
I did not. Look how thick that is. I can't read that in one sitting.
Firepower. Robert Kirkman and I apologize.
Chris Samney.
Chris Samney knocks
Chris
it out of the park.
Samney.
It's Batman Begins with a little bit of Kung Fu Panda
And fireballs.
and Fireballs and a Street Fighter or
Avatar?
Iron Fist. It's not anything you haven't seen before. A young protege is climbing up a mountain and he finds a Buddhist temple that teaches Kung Fu for the Flame Fist. And he's like, I want to learn. And they're like, you don't have what it takes. And he's like, what about now? He's like, all right, you have what it takes.
The art is so beautiful.
The art's really
though.
good. The martial arts in it is really good. Robert Kirkman has it's bare bones and it's nothing you haven't seen before. But there's a fun Josh Whedon-y energy to it, I guess. Yeah. So if that's your thing,
It's not breaking new ground, but it is a good example of those tropes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure in 30 years everyone's going to be like, you know what Robert Kirkman's best work was out of his
Firepower.
Yeah.
giant catalog of self-created own titles? Probably not this, but I would pick this up for Chris Samnee's beautiful, beautiful artwork.
for sure,
Yeah.
it's great. It looks great. There's nothing better like martial art wise.
It's too bad we didn't get something like this for Iron Fist instead of what we got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like if you're into the Shaw Brothers and 36 Chambers and whatnot, and you want to see it in a comic medium, bam, go nuts, Firepower.
Wait, which Iron Fist thing are you referring to?
Any of it.
Oh, just like if we could get Iron Fist like this.
Yeah.
You know someone who wants to do it.
I wonder who.
I like the Matt Fraction run. Is he a scummy human being?
No.
Oh, thank God. Oh, okay. I was like,
I feel
oh,
like, yeah, this is my life now. Every time I make a disapproving look about anybody, people are like, oh no, what came out now?
Chris and I were talking about another book earlier today. I was like, oh yeah, about this like creator cell phone thing. She was like, oh yeah, that. I was like, oh no, what did he do?
And I was like, oh, I just don't like his art.
And I was like, okay, that's.
Yeah. We're all just expecting them to have touched children or
Oh
something.
God.
Boys, dear Becky, it's not bad.
It's.
Yeah, you guys talk about it, because I actually, after the first issue, I was like, I'm not a boys fan. So
There's a lot of prequels this week. The Firepower is a prequel to a thing that's supposed to happen. The Goddamned's a prequel, right?
it's not a prequel.
I thought Goddamn was
No,
a
it
prequel.
It's kind of just
exists in the
another
universe.
story.
Oh.
If you went to church, you'd realize that.
What?
Boys.
It's a biblical book. I don't know.
If you like The Boys like I do, it's more of The Boys. I'm not sure why this exists, probably to coincide with the release of season 2 of the show, but like,
When is
It
that
has
supposed
nothing to
happen?
do with the show.
I forgot. It has nothing to do with the show, but like, there's more boy stuff. It's not bad.
I mean, yeah, there is a demand for boys stuff.
If
so.
you like seeing copyright safe version of your big favorite Marvel DC heroes getting like brutalized.
Quick, sign up.
Oh, we're signing. This was the Sidekick podcast.
I'm Harrison.
That's Cooper.
I'm Jason.
Jay's over there.
Yeah, I'm here, but there's stuff happening.
That's Chris.
Yeah.
It only happens 52 times a year.
Wednesday to Wednesday. I be going hard from like Wednesday to Wednesday.
Yeah, hey, pal, you got that one where Superman goes to Supertown? Yeah, I got that when it come out. I like the fourth world.